so long.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about that on the other Zoom. Anyway, I just hit record. So
my hair?
yes, your hair is so long. I was like, oh my gosh, it's growing out so much. So for those of you guys who are going to watch the recording of this, let me just announce that real quick. We're just going to chit chat for a little bit about leadership. It's going to be, I mean, we already were talking about it. It's just going to be super chill. If you guys that are on have any questions that you want about leadership, throw it in the chat, unmute yourself. Real chill, like campfire feel, like we're just going to chat. I wanted to do this. I know I was talking to Courtney, you actually inspired me to do this at all because I haven't done like leadership Zooms in forever. It's never something I was really big on. And then you were like doing all of these and I'm like, oh my gosh, her team shows up. Maybe this is why. Like she takes so much time with them. So I'm going to try it. And my team was about it. We did one last week where I just rambled for like 30 minutes. It was fantastic. And then I know Brittany was talking about she's wanting to do some of this stuff with her team. So we were just excited to hop on here. And so, like I said, I want to keep it real chill. I wanted to talk starting off, kind of like, I don't know, what is like so one of the things that you've had to overcome with leadership. That's kind of what I wanted to start with. I know personally, I'll start us off. I know one of the biggest things with me when it was, I kind of had this platform for leadership. I always wanted to be a leader. Like, that's why I wanted to do this. I always wanted to talk on stage. I thought I had to write a book to get there. And then like this business, and I was like, oh my God, I'll get to talk on stage. I've always really wanted to influence people. And I didn't realize how difficult that is. And like, I feel like it's so stupid to be like, oh, it's just hard. I didn't realize, like, I never knew what to say. I've never been one that just wants to talk unless what I say has meaning. And so I was like, well, how do I have meaning in what I say? Like, I don't want to run my mouth. What even is leadership? And I think that's probably my biggest thing. And I think overcoming that, I think it's so cool because leadership, it's just the same thing as anything else we do. It's just you learn and then you just disperse it. And I think like it's just so simple instead of looking at leadership as like this huge thing of like, oh, I don't know how to lead and I don't know how am I going to influence these people and I can't get my own life together. How am I going to help them? And instead take the mantle off and just be like, I just get to learn and then just help other people learn. And I think it's so important. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that was my biggest thing. I want to talk about that some. So Courtney, what was your I don't know, what's something that you think overcoming with leadership? Because I know that's something we talked about a couple weeks ago on your leadership Zoom that you were just really struggling with it now. And so what's something that like you kind of had dealt with as a leader, like a setback that you've overcome and how or why or what?
Something that I've recently had to overcome and kind of be like learn through is to be okay being vulnerable and not being a perfect self. Like for so long, I felt like I had to be this really strong leader who just was on my A game every day. Like I was always feeling great. I always got my host to post up. I always did everything. And when I got pregnant, I got hit. Like I swear, like the girl that gets hit by a school bus in Mean Girls, that's how I felt. Like I just could not function to save my life. And for my team, a lot of you guys are on, you guys were like, you disappeared. Like what happened? And I was mad at myself for disappearing, but also I didn't know how to say, hey, I'm struggling as a person. I can't show up as the person you need me to be. And so I had to I talked to Shannon a lot and I was like, I'm just not okay. Like, I'm just not good. And she was like, that's fine. Like, you don't need to be perfect 24/7. So it was a learning curve for me to just like understand that it was okay to be human and okay to tell my team, hey, I'm struggling with just like life right now. Like, I'm not feeling great. I'm not doing okay. I'm slacking right now. I'm not great. And I think that was really hard for me, but also it was really powerful because I think it opened up a lot of, I don't want to say like thoughts on my team, but like people saw that like, hey, I don't need to be a perfect person to be a leader. I don't need to have my stuff together 24/7. I don't need to be happy from the second I wake up or the second I go to bed. Like it was very hard for me to tell people like, hey, my thoughts aren't great right now. I'm not okay. Because I never was that person, especially when I was going through it. And I mean, I'm kind of like starting to be on the other side of it, but in the midst of it, I had never went through something like that. I had never felt so weird. Like, it's hard to explain how I felt because it just wasn't myself. And at the time I was just so mad at myself that I wasn't myself. And I was like, what do I do? So I just hid in a corner and I didn't talk to anyone. Like I remember there was a day that I literally had like 30 unread messages from potential customers in my team. And I was like, I can't do it right now. And I think allowing myself to be vulnerable with my team and saying, hey guys, here's what's going on. I'm not doing great. And reaching out to my like up and coming leaders and saying, hey, I need you guys to like pick it up here because here's what's going on, really showed them that it's okay to be a human. And kind of, and my team that's on, you guys can say if I'm right by these thinkings, but I think it allowed them to see that who they are is enough, that they didn't need to be this person who woke up like like Peppy Polly or whoever. I don't know what I was going to say, but like this peppy person, like it was okay to have bad days. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to have other things going on. And I think allowing myself to be that vulnerable with people was really, really powerful.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I remember because like I promoted really quickly in my business, and so like I mean I was double diamond in 8 months, and like insert income disclosure, my first double diamond check was almost $9,000. Like thought I was living life, and then I only maintained double when I first hit it for like 4 months, 3 months, and my team didn't know I lost double for almost a year. I was still living this like, oh, I'm this person because I felt like I, you know, like you're like, I felt like I had to be in order for like my team to even respect me, which I think is so crazy. And being able to, I remember like the end of January of 2020, 2019, I don't know, whatever that was, the next January, I went live on my team page and I was just like hysterically crying. And I was like, I just feel like I need to tell you guys where I've been. And it was so crazy to like, relationships that came out of that, of like people who were like, I'm so proud of you, like I'm so excited for where we're going. And like I mean that's like last year back in November, we were freaking like diamond, making the money we thought, and like COVID hit, we had some crazy things happen. I was homeless for an entire month living in a tent, and I was trying to figure out like, how do I lead here? Like how am I supposed to be someone who is setting an example if I'm sleeping in a freaking hurricane tonight? Like what do I do here? And it opened up a door again, just that vulnerability to like like we were just talking about on the Zoom, to like build those relationships and friendships. Like my girls know they can come to me because I'm real. I'm gonna be like, I'm a hot mess. I've been through crap. Like, let's talk about it. I had one of my girls going through a really, really difficult time a couple days ago, and she removed herself from the team chats and all that. She reached out to me and she was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm over living. Like, I don't know what to do. This is so hard. How am I supposed to work my business when I'm dealing with this? And that wouldn't have happened had I not first been vulnerable. And I there's so much freaking power in that, especially as a leader. Like that's so freaking huge.
Yeah,
Brittany,
sorry, I keep every time you call on Brittany, I'm like, hold on, one more thing. I've been on the list. Sorry. I love that you talked about like telling people that you lost rank, because I think a lot of times two things. One, people look at leadership like it's this perfect bubble that nothing bad ever happens. Right? That like you never lose rank. And then if they do like promote and then they lose rank and they're like, okay, so I'm clearly the worst person that's ever existed in this business. Because a lot of times people like no one talks about it. So I love that you do that. And I've told my team many times, I'm like, listen, I tell them all the time, I'm like, December of 2019, my paycheck was like $500 as a double diamond. Okay. Like things happen. 99% of it was my fault because I was lazy, but that doesn't mean you can't pick yourself back up from there. You know, like I think being willing to share that of like your struggles makes other people understand that it's okay to struggle too, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like when I lost rank, first rank I lost was Ruby. Only other rank I've ever lost was double. And I remember I was like so distraught because I was like, I'm super red. I was like, I'm going to the top. And then I wasn't. I was going backwards. Thought like the world was ending. And like it took my upline like, I don't know, months of me just being in this crazy space of double to be like, well, I lost double too. And I was like, what do you mean? Like when I joined her, she was like this double diamond leader I looked up to and all. She was maintaining diamond at the time, and it was just not something that she ever talked about. And I think that's so important. Like it happens to all of us. Like no one's journey is that straight line. And when we talk about it, it like, again, just that transparency, it breeds the opportunity to have comfort in that instead of, feeling totally lost. And so, Brittany, what would you jump in and say? Like, what's one thing you've ever overcome in leadership?
Yeah, I want to talk about that, but I want to say really quickly too. I think the power of being transparent is how you can help your team to not make the same mistakes that you did. So for me, I've talked about losing rank before as well, and that's just something that like I really work with my team, like talking about things not to do because I did them and it didn't work. Not that that's always the answer, but I think in those situations, I think that there's always like you said, Mariah, going backwards. I think that, you know, when things like that happen, you're not going backwards, you're just learning what you need to move forward. And I think that that's okay. But as far as like overcoming, okay, so I have two scenarios. The first one was in when I really started trying to lead. And for me, part of my story, you guys, is it took me 2 years to go Ruby. And so I felt like I couldn't lead anybody because how am I supposed to lead myself or like lead my team if I haven't gone there yet myself? So I was like, I don't know what these people want from me. Like, I'm just trying to host a Zoom that no one's coming on. I'm trying to lead a chat that no one's responding to. Like, I don't know what to do. Um, and so I just like got the heck over myself and I put them down there. I told you that. Yay, thank you. But I just started listening to, he brought me ice cream. But I just started listening to like all the leadership podcasts, right? And like any kind of like YouTube, anything. As I was promoting, I was basically Ruby in December of 2018, and then 2019 went Emerald, Diamond, Double, and got him Diamond. And the reason that I did that was because literally all I was listening to were people that I looked up to in leadership. So tons of Cheyenne Knox, tons of Morgan Martin, like literally that was all that was playing. And so that belief, like they literally put it into me and then I just put it, I feel, into my team. And then the second part of like overcoming things is once I got to Double, I'm like, all these amazing people are like diamonds and doubles and triples. And I started comparing myself because I wasn't leading the way that they were leading. And I was like, and there's, you know, you can always learn from people, but when you compare yourself to, it's like, you kind of get stuck in this place of like, I'm not good enough to lead anymore. And so I kind of went into that. And again, just a bunch of self-development. So those are my two biggest like obstacles as far as leadership goes.
Oh, I love that, the comparison thing, man. Like, dude, I can't tell you, like, there's so many days, like today I may think I'm like the best person on the planet. Like my team's lucky to have me. And then tomorrow I'm like, who am I? Like, no, I'm awful at this. Like, come on. Comparison is so huge. And I felt the same way with like responding in chats. Oh my God. Like I said, I started a chat like with my mother-in-law and my husband because I was, you know, we're promoting, we're doing things, like I'm doing all the things. And I can remember one of the most difficult moments in leadership for me was I was going to do my first Zoom for just my team. From the get-go, I'd always been, my upline, she was never big on speaking on Zooms a lot. And so we would do a team Zoom every week and I would speak every single week. Like I was always going and carrying it. And so I was like, well, I'm going to do this for my girls. I hyped it up all week. My team was so excited. And the Zoom came and no one got on. And I sat there for 30 minutes, the whole length of the Zoom, staring at myself on the screen, like crying, wondering why it wasn't good enough to like have a team. And I remember I took a picture of it, the whole like situation and all, and I wrote a little memo and saved it in my phone saying that I'm gonna keep showing up for the people who don't deserve me because the ones who do deserve me are gonna appreciate it one day. And I was listening to a conference a couple weeks ago, and Tony Robbins was talking, and like he was talking about his first ever event. He rented like a Marriott conference room. He filled it up, was ready for like 450 people. He paid tons of money he'd saved for this conference, and he was going to speak, and 7 people showed up. And this is Tony, like the Tony Robbins. And so it's so cool. I find so much comfort in that anytime. Like, I mean, we were talking about like the last Zoom, like my girls weren't hopping on. We're 3 minutes in and I'm like, my team's not here. Like, what have I done wrong? Like instant fear and feeling. And it's just that reminder, like Tony Robbins had 7 people show up his first time. And like, you have to get on like a waiting list to get there now. And so that doesn't have to define who you are, where you go, and anything like that. I want to keep this pretty short, just a quick combo with you guys. I'm already feeling like this has been amazing. Like just talking through some of this stuff. I don't feel like we always take the time. We like to plan Zooms and we like to have like a game plan versus like just sitting down and being like, let's just talk about it. Like I feel like, and that's really where a lot of those raw learning moments happen. And so we're gonna do the inverse real quick, and I want you to talk about like your biggest tip or like your biggest like good thing you would go tell someone like a new distributor, like this is going to help you develop that leadership. So Courtney, I know you got to jump off, so if you want to go ahead, share what you got.
Yeah, so a couple things. First, start where you are with who you are. Don't feel like you need to be someone else. Don't feel like you need to be a certain rank. Leadership is not defined by a rank. It's defined by how you act. So that's the first thing. Second thing, reach out to your upline and say, hey, how can I become a better leader? I want to be a leader one day. What can I do? Maybe that's you're going to send some inspiration in the group chat. Maybe you're going to lead a power hour. Maybe you're going to host a Zoom. Whatever it is, start asking, what are ways I can improve? And then don't be offended by what they're saying. Maybe they're going to say, hey, you need to be a little bit more positive. That doesn't mean you are the most negative person in the world and I hate talking to you. That's not what that means. But a lot of times that's how we take it. So just understand what they're saying doesn't mean like they hate you as a person. The next thing that I want to tell you guys is start pouring into yourself, because you can never, Shannon, I know that's how you would take that. You can never pour into someone if you have nothing in yourself to give, right? Like the way that I think of this, imagine if you were a waitress, right? And you go up to someone with a pot of coffee and you're like, would you like more coffee? And they're like, I would love that. And you're like, sorry, my pot is empty. I don't actually have coffee. Like that, you don't do that, right? So if you want to be a leader and start influencing people, you have to do that for yourself first, right? You can't go hype someone else up if you just were crying for a half hour. It's not going to happen, right? If you're just feeling sucky about yourself, you can't be like, oh my God, girl, you're going to kill this business. You're the freaking bomb.com. You got this. You're going to be like, oh my God. Okay. So I think we can make this work. I don't know, right? Like you have to pour into yourself first. You have to be okay. So take that time. And you guys, I know self-development is like, when you're starting it, it's the most annoying thing in the world. And it's like weird, right? Like I remember telling people, like I said this on the last Zoom that I was on, I hate it when people are like, oh, go read affirmations to yourself in the mirror. I'm like, what are we trying to do? Like get the Bloody Mary? Like what is it? What, do you guys know what I'm talking about? In the mirror, when you like say it? Okay. That's what I felt like. I was like, no, I didn't do that in high school. I'm doing it now. Okay. Bloody Mary. Is that what it is? No. Okay. That's the
no,
drink.
that's what you said. I'm like,
I was like, wait, that's what I said. Okay, the Bloody Mary is the drink. Yes, it's Bloody Mary. Shannon's shaking her head. No, it's not the Bloody Mary. I don't know what it is.
That's what it was.
Okay, we'll say it in the chat if it's not Bloody Mary. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. You know where you say it 3 times, you like spin a little bit. It is. Okay, you know what? I was right. So that's what I felt like I was doing. And I was not okay with it. So if you're just like not okay with doing affirmations in the mirror, that's fine. Cause I still don't, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a double diamond. I still don't do it. It freaks me out. I don't like talking to myself. It's not my thing, but I can read, I can listen to podcasts. I can listen to audiobooks. I can listen to YouTube, figure out what works for you because you need to do that. And then the other thing is you need to understand you can't expect your team to do what you're not going to do. You can't ask your team, all right, girls, we're going to do 10 host posts a day every single day, no matter what. And then you're over here getting 2. You can't ask them to do something you're not going to do. So that's all I got.
Oh my God, that's so good. Okay, Brittany, what do you got? What is your tips you're going to give an up and coming leader to help them, just get that next level in their leadership?
Okay, so I think that this is kind of a 2-part thing, because I feel like as a leader, you should want to do this for your team. And as someone who wants to grow into leadership, you should want to do it for yourself. And so what I like to do as like building people is I like to see like who has good qualities that they can contribute to the team. So like Courtney said, if someone's super positive, I'm going to go to them and be like, hey, listen, you're like rocking it. You're super positive. Like, can you share something tomorrow in the group chat? Or, if somebody is doing amazing with enrollments, I'm going to ask them to go live in the team page and kind of share about that. But there's other people on the team, like Brianna on here, for instance, is our freaking organization queen, and she knows that. So she takes it upon herself to to like write up organization things and like come up with little charts for us and things like that. So I feel like, which is amazing. Thanks, girl. But I feel like, you know, if you are somebody wanting to step into leadership more, then you figure out what you're good at. Maybe it is creating graphics or story slides or something like that. It can literally be like the most simple things, but that's going to mean a lot to your team. And they're going to see like, even if you just post it in a group chat and you're like, oh my gosh, I made these, like, feel free to use them, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, well, she is like doing something for the team. That's inspiring. You know, it doesn't have to be like this crazy thing, you know, like they just want to see that you're stepping into something for them. So that's kind of basically what Courtney said, but that's what I would say too.
I love that. Mine's pretty similar too. I would also say negativity. I think it's really important to remember negativity doesn't ever go down. Like if your team's not working, or if, you know, you just saw a negative message or comment, like that never goes down. You never take that to the person below you. That's not their job to figure out. That's not their job to carry. Like that's something that goes up. That's something you go to your upline with help with, or something like that. If you have someone acting out, or you're, you know, trying to help a newbie and like maybe there's issues, you never complain to your team. Like maybe I'm having a really difficult time with, you know, something. I'm not going to go to my diamond below me and be like, girl, our team is just not like participating. Like I had the Zoom, I had guest speakers, and none of our team got on. Like that's not, that never goes down. I think it's really important to remember like that's not what the team's for. And when you are bringing that, it just creates the wrong kind of vibe. And next, I read to show up. Bye, Courtney. Love you. Thank you so much. But to show up today for your future ambassador downline. Like when your E-suite says, congratulations, you know, Shannon, or congratulations, Amber or Amy or whatever, Ambassador Diamond, show up today for the downline E-suite will have then, you know. And I love that, because I know it's so sometimes kind of defeating to start leadership. I feel like that's like a scary thing, and like I don't know, almost defeating thing. You're like, I want to be a leader, but I don't know what that looks like. My team's not like willing to follow me, and I'm trying to lead them. And, you know, like we were talking about a couple minutes ago, like doing Zooms no one shows up on, or having chats where no one's active. And instead of, you know, taking it personal, stepping back and being like, well, maybe I'm not doing something right, or maybe, you know, I should just stop doing this. Keep doing it, because the practice you have now is going to create the team that you want in the future. And, you know, when you're doing the things for the people who aren't appreciating it, or for the people who aren't taking the time to respond, but you keep doing it, you're working out a muscle that is going to create such amazing leadership for the team that does deserve it and does want it as it's coming in. So real quick, Brittany, before we hop off, I was going to also ask, what are you doing to kind of help like layer your leadership? So where, like you were talking about, like, I don't know if layered leadership is really the right word for that, but you were talking about, like, you had Brianna who does all the organizational things. How are you creating the environment for that leadership, like below you, to blossom, if that makes sense?
So honestly, I feel like because the girls like in leadership positions now, I feel like because they have kind of done the same thing, like I had someone the other day just ask, hey, can I go live in the team page? And I think it's because they're seeing so many people going live in the team page. Like, I don't want it to be just me. And for a hot second, I was like, I have to show up. They need to see my face. Like, they need to know that it's me, blah, blah, blah. And that was just something that I put on myself, because I was like, I want them to know that I'm here. Like, I'm 100%, like all the things. But in reality, I can't be somewhere 24/7. Like, nobody can. And my team probably got annoyed hearing me. So I wanted to, you know, have other people come in and step into that leadership. And now they are having their girls step into leadership too. And I feel like also that creates accountability for your own business. Like, if you know that you have eyes on you, you're probably going to work harder than like someone sitting on the sidelines, right? So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that was really good. That was more of a personal thing. That's like I'm very red, and so I'm very controlling, and I like to do everything. And it's something I've been working with a lot of my leaders to, like, tell me what you guys like, help me help you guys, like delegate that. So I just, you know, just interested in hearing that.
Delegating, that's a good word. And for a minute I was like, I don't want to delegate because I don't want people to think that like I want them to do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just a mindset thing that I had to get over.
So. Oh yeah. Definitely. So I know you had a lot of your girls on here as well. Was there any last leadershipy things that you wanted to go over or say, or you have feeling good?
Does anybody have any questions
That as well.
while we're here?
Maybe not.
Okay. So if you do put them in the chat or unmute or something, but I guess the biggest thing that I would say is just to show up. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be a leader, clearly not. I mean, I was 20 minutes late to a Zoom that I was co-hosting. But you don't have to be perfect, but I suggest doing something. So even if it's just going into the chat and putting a poll up, or just doing something every day. One of the biggest things too, this is kind of everywhere, but one of the biggest things that I started doing, and I mentioned this on the other Zoom, was making sure to reach out to at least 3 people a day. And sometimes there are people who aren't active anymore, but I just want to see how they're doing. Sometimes it's me asking people to go live. Sometimes it's just a check-in, whatever it is. I think that just connecting with your team and helping them grow into leaders is going to help you grow into a leader too.
Oh, I love that so much. And don't put the pressure on yourself. I mean, I feel like you've heard that inadvertently, and like Brittany was just saying, she put so much pressure on herself that she had to do this and she had to do that and X, Y, Z. And I feel like that was a big thing when I got started with leadership and really trying to lead, because leadership, it's from day one, you're already, developing leadership. And I mean, the second you sign your first team member, congratulations, you're now a leader. And so it doesn't have to be this scary, I have to do X, Y, Z now. That's all in your head. That's so much pressure that you're putting that doesn't have to be there. Instead, it just gets to be an opportunity to love and serve people differently. And to, not just take care of yourself and not just grow yourself, but now you get to share that knowledge and you get to share the inspiration and you just get to share those things. And so I think to just don't put that pressure on yourself. Just take it off and learn to walk through leadership just like you walk through starting your business, just like you walk through your marriage, just like every other thing. And love the process, because it's all a process. You're never going to find someone at the very top who is like, oh no, I'm an amazing leader and I never have a bad day. It just doesn't happen. It's just this beautiful process of learning. And so I want to keep about 30 minutes and we hit it on the freaking dot. So thank you so much, Brittany. I tried to tell Courtney, but she hopped off real quick. She had to another meeting she was getting on. But thank you so much for